Have you ever felt like something was missing during intimacy? Maybe there was a moment where the connection didn't feel quite right, or you found yourself wondering if there's something more you should know. Well, today we're diving deep into the science of intimacy and talking about things you should never do during sex, backed by research, psychology, and relationship science. This is not about shame, guilt, or making you feel bad. This is about understanding what can truly enhance the experience for both you and your partner. I'm the Intimacy Doctor. Real talk, real science, real intimacy. And if you've ever been curious about how to take your relationships to the next level, you're in the right place. Let's be honest. Sex is a deeply personal experience, but it's also about trust, communication, and emotional connection. And yet, too many people fall into patterns that don't serve them. Patterns that are not only unhelpful, but, at times, damaging to the relationship. So what are these things you should never do? Let's unpack it, one step at a time. The first thing you should never do during sex, and this might sound simple but is so critical, is not communicate. That's right. Not talking about what you like, what feels good, what doesn't, or what's going on in your mind during the act. Now I know, communication can be uncomfortable at times, especially during vulnerable moments like these, but it's absolutely necessary. Here's why. From a psychological standpoint, intimacy is built on trust and emotional connection. Without communication, it's easy to fall into misalignment, where one partner is getting something out of the experience and the other is feeling frustrated or disconnected. Think about it. How can someone know what makes you feel good if you don't tell them? Or how can you know what they need if they don't share? The science is clear. Couples who communicate openly about their desires and boundaries during sex tend to have better, more fulfilling experiences. If this resonates with you, think about how often you've avoided uncomfortable conversations about sex or intimacy. It's normal, but it doesn't have to be. Here's a simple practice. Start by checking in with your partner before intimacy. Ask them what they're in the mood for, what they enjoy, and what they might want to try. If you're comfortable, share the same things too. It doesn't have to be a long, deep conversation, but it can make a huge difference. What do you think about that? Have you ever found yourself silent during these moments, just hoping your partner will get it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Moving on to the second thing you should never do. Ignore consent and boundaries. Now, I know that might seem obvious to some, but in reality, this is something that happens more often than we'd like to admit. And no, this doesn't only mean outright ignoring someone's no. It also involves disregarding subtle cues, like a shift in body language, or your partner pulling away. Science has shown that consent isn't just a one-time thing, it's ongoing. Research from the field of sexual health and relationship science makes it clear that consent is a continuous conversation, not a checkbox. A lot of people think once they have consent at the start, it's good for the entire experience. But truly, things change. People's comfort levels change in real time. In an emotionally intelligent relationship, we're always checking in, whether that's with words or nonverbal cues. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you needed to say something but didn't? Either because you were too shy or because the moment felt too intimate to bring it up? That hesitation can lead to discomfort or even emotional harm. Here's an idea. Start viewing consent as an ongoing mutual exchange. Every touch, every move, every moment is an opportunity for both you and your partner to express what feels good and what doesn't. Now, the third thing you should never do is put your ego first. And trust me, I get it. Sometimes we want to feel validated, desired, or wanted, and that's okay. But focusing too much on your own needs can cause a disconnect with your partner, leaving them feeling neglected or, even worse, like an object. This is where emotional intelligence plays a key role. When we talk about sex, it's not just a physical act, it's a deeply emotional one. Research in relationship psychology has shown that people who engage in sex with a focus on mutual satisfaction, on both giving and receiving, report a much deeper sense of emotional connection and happiness. It's about creating space for both people to feel valued and respected. So, next time, try this. During sex, rather than focusing solely on your own pleasure, ask yourself, how can I help my partner feel more comfortable? More pleasure? More connected? This simple shift in mindset makes a huge difference. Not only will your partner feel more valued, but you'll also get the satisfaction of creating a deeper, more meaningful connection. It's all about mutual satisfaction. What do you think about that shift? How often do you focus on mutual pleasure rather than just your own? Share your thoughts below. The fourth thing you should never do during sex is disregard aftercare. Aftercare is the practice of checking in with your partner emotionally after the experience, ensuring that both of you are still feeling safe, comfortable, and connected. It can range from something as simple as cuddling to a more in-depth conversation about how you both felt. Studies have found that aftercare is especially important in maintaining emotional intimacy and trust, particularly after a highly charged sexual encounter. During sex, hormones like oxytocin, the bonding hormone, are released, which makes us feel more connected and attached to our partners. However, after the experience, we can also feel emotionally vulnerable, and this is where aftercare steps in to help foster a sense of security and emotional closeness. It might feel a little awkward at first, especially if it's something new to you, but the payoff is worth it. Think about it. How often do you just roll over or get up right after sex? What would it feel like to take a moment, look at your partner and say, "Hey, are you okay? Let's check in with each other." It's a small practice that fosters big emotional rewards. And finally, the fifth thing you should never do during sex is to neglect emotional intimacy. Emotional connection is the foundation of a healthy sexual relationship. You may have heard the saying, sex is 90% emotional and 10% physical. While that's not entirely accurate, there's truth in the idea that our emotional bond deeply influences our physical experience. Relationship science backs this up. Research has found that couples who nurture emotional intimacy through regular communication, empathy, and shared experiences tend to have better, more fulfilling sex lives. Emotional intimacy is the gateway to physical intimacy. When you feel connected emotionally, your body responds. You'll feel safer, more vulnerable, and more open to pleasure. This doesn't mean you need to pour your heart out every time you're together, but a little emotional intimacy can go a long way. Take a moment to ask your partner about their day, their feelings, or their dreams. Share something meaningful from your own life. This isn't about deep, lengthy conversations, but about fostering a sense of closeness and understanding. If this resonates, hit that like button so more people can find it and benefit from these insights. So, to wrap things up, there are things we all need to be aware of when it comes to sex. Things that can either enhance or hinder our experiences. Communication, consent, ego, aftercare, and emotional intimacy are the pillars that should guide us through those intimate moments. These are not just practices for better sex. They are practices for building stronger, more connected relationships. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to The Intimacy Doctor. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on more videos about intimacy, relationships, and emotional health. And don't forget to check out my next video, where we'll dive deeper into how emotional intelligence can transform your relationships in and out of the bedroom. Thanks for watching, and remember, real talk, real science, real intimacy.